senior US senator is demanding that Twitter disclose his account details relating to WikiLeaks and its founder Julian Assange, including releasing direct message conversations. Diane Feinstein's the lady's name. She's listed her demands in a letter to Twitter's founder and CEO, Jack Dorsey. It's a pretty big list. Well, here it is. Let's take a look at a few of her demands, shall we? First of all, she wants to know whether Twitter has identified the accounts linked to the alleged Russia meddling investigation and its methods for doing so. And, of course, a request like this couldn't go without the so-called propaganda bullhorn, us, RT's Twitter accounts being mentioned. They're also under suspicion. But back to WikiLeaks. Here's a list of some of the accounts linked to it. There they are. The senator thinks their message history could prove vital to this investigation. Caleb Maupin's got more.
Feinstein, the U.S. senator from California, is requesting that the direct messages on Twitter sent by WikiLeaks be turned over and given to the Congress for their investigation. They're asking for the direct messages of WikiLeaks, the direct messages of Julian Assange, as well as the direct messages of the hacker known as Guccifer2, who is reported to have been the person who turned over the emails of the Democratic National Committee to WikiLeaks. Now, it's important to note that Diane Feinstein, who's requesting these direct messages on behalf of Congress, that she is certainly no fan of Julian Assange. This is what she said about Julian Assange in the past.
Well, Mr. Assange is one of my most unfavorite people in the world. I believe he's done great discredit to this nation.
Now, Diane Feinstein is not the only figure within the U.S. political establishment who has voiced opposition and hatred for Julian Assange. Many figures within the U.S. government, many senators, congressmen, leaders of the military have spoken of Julian Assange, accused him of being a Russian agent, called for prosecution of Julian Assange, called for WikiLeaks to be shut down. This is a widespread sentiment in Washington, D.C.
I mean, he's a tool of Russian intelligence, and if he's such a martyr of free speech, why doesn't WikiLeaks ever publish anything coming out of Russia?
He should be treated as an enemy combatant. WikiLeaks should be closed down permanently and decisively.
WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service, often abetted by state actors like Russia. Ignorance or misplaced idealism is no longer an acceptable excuse for lionizing these demons. Assange is a narcissist who has created nothing of value. He relies on the dirty work of others to make himself famous. He's a fraud, a coward hiding behind a screen.
This guy's a traitor, a treasonist, and I'm not for the death penalty. So if I'm not for the death penalty, the only one to do it, illegally shoot the son of a.
As we know, on November 1st, the owners of Twitter will be testifying before the U.S. Congress. And this is all part of the investigation of alleged Russian meddling in the U.S. presidential elections in 2016. And now we see this additional request being given to Twitter just a few days before they're set to testify. So one wonders, is any new information going to be determined from these direct messages? Or is this the government of the United States, in particular the Congressional Committee, putting additional pressure on Twitter in the lead up to their testimony?
Investigative journalist Dave Lindorf believes the senator's request violates free speech, though.
There's no indication that WikiLeaks is a tool of Russia. WikiLeaks has been a major source for American journalism and British journalism for a long time, but now Feinstein's trying to imply that WikiLeaks is somehow in league with this alleged Russian effort to swing the election in the United States in 2016. Even if you took the worst case scenario and you said that Russia was behind an effort to skew people's perspectives about one candidate or the other in the election, that is not a crime. So to demand these private communications on Twitter when there isn't any criminality being even alleged is over the top and a terrible threat to First Amendment rights in the United States.